Venus is exalted, and with Pallas Athena at the heart, the sun, it should occur to us that exalted love includes revelations. Revelations by pain, not just inspiration. Growing pains. What is your claim of love? Without proof and evidence. What is it? Romantic ideals and expressions, novelties, Instagram pictures. We're not in superficiality anymore, people. And this is the review to help us to look back from Pisces into Virgo with our claims of love. Do you know how to love? Do you know about love? Do you understand love? Are you willing to be a student of love? And can that require that you put away your perverted assumptions about love that only cause you to become entrapped in more troubles and confusion? Love is a demonstration. It's an active principle. It's a conqueror of darkness, a conqueror of evils, a dispeller of lies, an exposer of lies, a healer, a comforter, a consoler. It is a reward of truth, a gift of truth. It's so exalted that only truth can usher it in. How do we take love out of heavenly dominion and subject it to pathetic lust and attempts at control, manipulation, transactional behaviors? But get into the real love, people. But it has nothing to do with your looks, your status, your degrees, your career paths. None of that can help you with love. None of it. Regardless of what brought you together, the honeymoon will always end. And after the honeymoon, now you can begin to make a proof. It's only after you stop liking someone that you start understanding what it means to love someone. But do we get that? This is the time where we realizing how it all happened. How we got all tied up. How we lost our identities. How we became the victim. What we did to construct that reality. Pallas Athena is at the heart. It's right at the heart center. The sun. Pallas Athena is helping you to recognize the patterns of the Pisces Saturn transit for the past 2.5 years. What are those patterns? What patterns do you notice about your behavior, your interaction, the things that you selected, the things that you avoided, Where you pretended like you didn't know something and you did. Where you act like you didn't understand but you did. Where you know you had an option to probably do the better thing but you didn't. Where you deliberately or intentionally gave away your power and authority. Where you consented, put your neck on the chopper. Why? Because you get pleasure in between. You get validation in exchange. You get console in exchange. Affection in exchange. Come on, let's confess here. Let's be truthful. Nobody else is in the room but you. Confession. Confess everything. Cough it up. Be honest. In doing so, you take back your power. In doing so, you reclaim authority. You can start the process of taking those chains off. But not if you're still lying. Not if you're still a fugitive from the truth. Not if you're still resisting. You see the patterns. You also see what it really was that you were looking for, what it really was that you wanted out of each situation, out of each interaction. You see what it really was because Pallas Athena is showing you. There was something sincere and innocent that you really desired, that you really needed. But you went through means that were impulsive to go about manifesting it. What do you see? What do you know? What do you realize? Who are you having a karmic experience with through Pisces? 2.5 years transit Saturn. Okay? Refer to your sun placement, your natal sun placement. That's the stage. That's the house. Refer to your north node. That's the means by which fated experiences were coming through to keep you in the context of that life path as you learn it. Understand? Going down memory lane. What better time to reflect? This is how we generate the forgiveness. Forgiveness of self. A truthful walk down. An honest, insightful walk down. You got to go back to the crime scene. When you go back to the crime scene, you look around and you feel, you sense what went down that night. How did that happen? Yo, how my mans got shot, laying right there in the pool of blood. The car spun off right there. It was right over there, so-and-so got robbed. It was right over there, the car spun off and went up that street. Somebody was arguing a couple hours prior to that. It was right there in front of Kennedy Fries. You know, you walking down the crime scene, playing the back of your head how everything happened, and you shaking your head, yo, hey, how did this happen? Still in disbelief. How did it happen? Take the wisdom with you. We're going to accelerate after all these murky water dealings. Time's going to go so fast. So it's worth it to reflect. It's worth it to take your time and really look into. This is the study material. This is the material that we study. This is the material that we investigate. You don't waste it. This is your holy book. That reflection. Extract all the wisdom out of it that you can. All the sacred knowledge out of it that you can extract out of it. Take those symbols with you as esoteric reference. Don't waste your experiences. Don't waste your sufferings. The identity is being clarified. Empowerment and authority has to go with it. And this is how we keep our authority. Realizing where consent was at and how it worked. Pisces Venus is conjunct the retrograde Mercury. And this transit initiates the retrograde of Mercury as a nostalgic reference, considering what took place, how did it happen, what do we value about it, and what did we learn in relationships and in finances. Relationships and finances. This is over the 2.5-year stretch, maximum 11 to 14 year stretch, once we're considering Neptune into the overall theme of Pisces itself in that experience. This is a time of reflection. And it's reflection in order to find the responsibility, the accountability, the moral principles, our conscience, within the patterns that Pallas Athena is revealing straight from the heart, not the narratives that are in our head. Your heart is telling on you. Your heart is telling the truth. Your heart is recognizing what happened. Your heart is seeing the pieces and putting it together. Your heart is telling on you, even though you a damn lie. Your heart is telling on you. And you should listen. What is your heart telling you about your patterns? What is Pallas Athena showing you in contrast to what it would have meant to hold wisdom? Now don't beat yourself up. Come on, lift your head. Lift your head. Don't beat yourself up. Lift your head. It was a learning experience. It had to be. It's your portion. Your karmic portion. What did you learn? That's the only thing that makes it worth it. Otherwise, it was all in vain. What did you learn? How honest can you be about what it is that you learn? A fool for love. A fool and his money will soon part ways. Come on. What did you learn? In the themes of escapism, addictive sensuality, lust, pleasures, delusion, being delusional, insisting on delusion, lie to me, tell me lies because it feels good. I know what the truth is, but I need you to lie to me because it helps my narrative. I need you to lie to me because it comforts me. Lie to me. I'll worry about the truth tomorrow, but today, please, lie to me because it feels so good. It comforts me. Lie to me. Come on. Nobody's watching. Admit. Tell the truth. You love to be lied to. You love it. You lie to yourself so much. You go and find somebody who would tell you all the lies you want to hear. until it starts hurting. Then you fall over like a possum. Oh, I'm a victim. Come on, walk down memory lane. What really happened? The crime scene. Come on, Saturday night. 1:23 in the morning. 125th and St. Nick. Come on. What happened? Crime scene. When we have this Virgo eclipse, open enemies are going to be cleared away. The open enemies are going to be cleared away out of your life. But before you get into, the celebration where you throw your hands up, you claim a victory, and you say, "Oh, this is great. I've been really wanting this to happen. Yeah, let's get these enemies out of my life. Down with my enemies." It's not so simple as that. The enemies of the sixth house only got there by your consent. And that's the challenging issue here. They came from the 12th house. They came from the very thoughts, feelings, convictions, and beliefs that you wouldn't confess. That you haven't admitted to inside of yourself. That you haven't sought salvation for or atonement. And so, the cycle continued, the cycle prevailed, the covenant, it yielded a stronger bond. At the 12th house, we may not have been mindful of what suffering was there. In that absence of mindfulness, they slide the contract across the table, and there goes our signature. There goes our initials, where we consented to be treated certain ways. We consented to treat ourselves certain ways. We consented to have our enemies close with us. Our enemies became the very ones who we made very loud, flamboyant, dramatic declarations of. I love so-and-so. I stand with so-and-so. I believe in such and such. I stand with such and such. This is what I believe in. This is what I know. There are many declarations. There are many claims. But little did we know, some of these claims are simply us standing on top of a hill, hoping that we can console ourselves with convincing ourselves, or console ourselves by convincing others that I found meaning. I found an identity. I found something to claim. Like the hermit crab that leaves one shell and goes to another shell, and leaves that shell and goes to another shell. But in some of these shells were enemies. Blockages, distractions, inhibitions, compromise, liabilities that were in the way of who we are to become, what we are to fulfill, what our life is supposed to mean. Coming up with our portion to serve with. Legacies of drama, claims of victimization, self-sabotage and self-undoing, cycles of curses, generational, and the initiation of curses that we instill in the blood, even in our current hours, even in our current times, mindless, not aware of it, but in the bliss of our ignorance, we continue sowing and nurturing our own enemies. It's where we became fools for what we thought was the expression of love. We became fools for what we thought fulfilled the meaning of love. For what we thought love had us to do or be. The idea of love that we step over our inner child. We step over checking in with our own conscience. We violate all principles and laws of life and of spirit in order to express what we think is love. Nonetheless, it turns out to be cycles of self-sabotage, the codependent, and the narcissists. This is what posed as what we may have thought was love, narcissism, and codependence. The narcissist who thinks that they're using someone, exploiting someone, desensitized, independent of the need of love, affection, and care, independent of the need of merging their identity and soul with another, independent of the need to enter the commitment, duties, and due process of intimacy, the vulnerability of intimacy, running away, running away, running away. And the runner has behind them a codependent who runs away from their self, who betrays their self, who sells their soul, who justifies terrorizing their own inner child, who justifies sending shock waves of trauma through their body in the name of what they think is love. Stories, narratives, recitation of what you've been through in the name of love. I love so hard, I love so true, I love so devoted, but none of it was love. It was self-undoing, self-entrapment, self-sabotage, desperation for control, the insecurity of having to face rejection, isolation, or the idea that maybe to this person, I'm not desirable. So many illusions behind this, and that at the 12th house, there's a specific expression of love that we are to learn. In the beginning of that lesson, it starts with suffering. It starts with undoing, self-betrayal, addictions, secret habits that brings destruction on ourselves. Secret habits that seems to isolate us and betray our inner child. Secret habits that fill us with perversion, fear, greed, lust, hatred, secret competition, jealousy, envy. But all fear-based and all assumptions of having lack. And we find a host. We find a vessel. Driven by spirits of this 12th house who sought our consent. And once a vessel is assigned, that spirit occupies that vessel. And there's something that the enemy has to teach us. But at our consent. This is the last school day of the 12th house in Pisces in this phase. This is the end of the school year of the teachers that we selected to teach us this wisdom of the 12th house in Pisces. Do we understand what an enemy is? Do we know what an enemy is? It's an impulse in yourself that lacks confession. It's a shadow in yourself that ran rampant without your authority. It's desires, needs, hopes, and wishes that were not guided by love or wisdom. It's lovelessness that felt too vulnerable, too afraid to submit to intimacy and all that it can do for us. When will we confess that maybe we didn't understand what love was? All it takes of these spirits of 12th house is a proper proposal suggesting to you that you are immoral, void of good reason, even evil, if you don't comply with my plea. And this is the voice of the narcissist. If you really love me, if you're really a good person, if you really do believe in the things that you say you believe in, if you really mean what you say, you will sign here. You will give me consent to occupy your life and absorb from you, receive from you, take from you, benefit from you, gain from you, stand under your light, your divine protection, your console, your comfort, your affection, your protection, because I don't have mine. I don't have it of my own self. If you really love me, you will provide it, and you will not deny me. These spirits are very crafty, and they choose a vessel that stands in the image of everything that you desire, everything that you lust for, everything that you want. And the codependent is the equal of that narcissist. And this is what we fail to confess. They are equals. When Virgo shadow has a hold of you, you become a codependent at Libra. That is because there's an assumption that comes with that shadow Virgo, which has many contexts. The assumption of the self that I'm not good enough. I'll never amount to anything. I'll never get there. I'll never be that. Maybe I'm replaceable. There's an anxiety with that energy that reveals itself at Libra. It causes us to betray ourselves, to be accepted, to belong. To feel attractive, to feel justified. Libra, justice. That codependent mindset will develop. But through that Libra energy, we think that we can compensate for what didn't happen at Virgo. And we find ourselves overdoing it at Libra. Because at Virgo, we can't even reach our own standard. We can't even obtain our own standard. Not in detriment, not in shadow, we can't. At Pisces, in detriment, we have the same crisis in polarity. I will sacrifice myself. I will sacrifice my boundaries. I will sacrifice my needs, my rights. I will swallow my voice. I will let go of everything that makes me unique, everything that makes me who I am, everything that outlines my image from yours. I will lay it down to uphold yours, to validate yours, to acknowledge yours. Becoming an enabler at Aries of someone else and their tyranny. Then there's the projection. Through the lens of Shadow Virgo, nobody's good enough because I'm not good enough. I don't have to be confronted with that if I raise my standards way up there somewhere where nobody can meet it. There's a lot more going on, more than meets the eye, people. And nobody walks away into the sunset saying, I'm the hero, I'm the good guy, I'm the one who won, I'm the blessed one, I'm the crowned one. Yeah, I'm the victim. I'm the one in the story who was done wrong and prevailed. I'm the one in the story who didn't do who did the right thing. I'm the one in the story who writes this sad story, who writes the sad song. I'm the one. It can't be somebody else. It can't be my fault. I can't have nothing to do with it. I'm the author. Of course not. The truth is that we play every role. We play every part. We're the villain and the hero at the same time. We're right and we're wrong at the same damn time. We violate while we get violated. In one court we're guilty, in another court we're innocent. That's the truth. Meanwhile, everyone turns to the truth teller and charges him or her as the criminal. Confession, people. Pisces. Confession. Mercury and Pisces, there are things to confess. There are things that you refuse to say, refuse to admit, but your body's going to tell on you. You're going to tell on yourself. You're not going to be able to stuff it down. No, you're not. You're going to tell on yourself. Could you have been an enabler the whole entire time? Was somebody operating off of signed papers, carrying your consent in full bold signature, where you consented to somebody treating you a way that you didn't like? You consented to somebody doing you a way you didn't like? Could they have the scrolls in their hand? Could they have the documents, the proof and evidence that you consented to it? You said they could enter your life and treat you that way. Will you confess it? Will you acknowledge it? Nah, you won't. Because in your story, you got to be the hero. In your story, you got to be right. In your story, you got to be the good guy or the good girl. In your story, you got to be the holder of virtue. In your story. So you ain't going to do it. No, you ain't. You going to hold on until your body tells on you. Pisces rules the feet, and your feet are dirty. Stop lying, nigga. You know what happened, and you know how it happened. Two and a half years. Pisces. These ongoing narratives. Of who's righteous and who's not. Who has the moral high ground and who doesn't. Small claims court about sacrifices that you made that didn't nobody ask you to make. Places where you stabbed yourself, shot yourself, and hung yourself. In the name of love, let you tell it. Let you tell it. Do we understand insistence? Are we willing to admit where we had options, but our choice, our selection, could have exposed us? Why did you choose that? Why didn't you choose the latter? Your image is being drawn. The exaltation of Venus has many silly interpretations, including my own silly interpretation. And in that silly interpretation, the exaltation of Venus, it simply means that there is authenticity with Venus. In illumination. But what does authenticity look like with Venus in Pisces? It's the opposite of what we've been struggling with concerning Virgo. The superficiality and false expectations that everything has to be so damn perfect with ourselves, and projecting those standards and ideas and expectations upon others. Never reaching the bar. Never reaching completion. Never reaching satisfaction. Never having access to content or peace or happiness. The job is never complete. The status is never reached. Eternal dissatisfaction and ingratitude. Never knowing what it's like to stand in the present moment and absorb the blessing or count the blessing. Pisces has a different approach to relationships. That approach is your presence is justified. It's already justified. My love for you is already justified. My forgiveness is already justified. My tolerance is already justified. My acceptance is already justified. And this doesn't mean to not have boundaries. It means that there's an understanding. An understanding that two or more are merging, dissolving into each other with the differences, the history, the preferences, the needs, the demons, the shadows, the illumination, the light, the angels. It all comes together Who am I to scrutinize what is inevitable of man or woman? My boundaries are sufficient, but my boundaries shouldn't prevent me from merging in intimacy with others. Nor should it mislead me to exploit myself, give myself away, and to dissolve into a state of victimhood and regret. This is the negotiating balance between Virgo and Pisces. To go to either one of the extremes is a violation. In Pisces, we've been idolizing, and we do ourselves a favor to admit who and what we have been idolizing collectively. I've gone over this, and there's no need to beat a dead horse. But of course, I'm here to play the role of the one who disturbs peace. Understand. But before I get into that, let's jog this idea. Pisces, Mercury retrograde, and Venus is aligning us with what it means to exalt Venus in Pisces. And the truth is that the more that you have, the more that you possess, the longer the distance from happiness, joy, peace, contentment, fulfillment, satisfaction, and oh yes, even love. You are that much farther away. The more you are anxious to consume, achieve, claim status, all of the accolades that fulfills the ideas of standards and extremes at Virgo. It gets in the way of your access to happiness, joy, peace, fulfillment, satisfaction, and the ecstasy of love. True love. Not a fix in dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. True love. The heights of understanding, universality, compassion, empathy, care, and the wisdom to recognize where true value is really at. That is Venus exalted. But we have to lose things to get to that. We have to find humility to get to that. After all, love is a teacher to all of mankind. Everyone is a student to love and eternally a student to love. No one gets to teach love, but everyone must learn from love. So humility is the first step to alignment with love. And happiness is yours. Joy is yours. Peace is yours. Pleasure is yours. And it is everlasting. Because you surrendered your fixation, your demand, your obsession through Virgo on having things and status to validate your claim of being enough. The scarcity mindset. When we have true wisdom and understanding, we know how to judge value. And this brings us to Taurus. We had to lose things at Taurus to quicken our faculty that allows us to recognize true everlasting value. And this began the fall from illusions of grace, success, stability, possessions, status, merit, accolades. Here's the truth, people. Less is more. Less is more. We all are getting prepared to experience true love, to align with true love, to open up to true love, to embrace real love. And romance doesn't know love. Your sick romance does not know love. Your perverted delusions does not know love. It is a spiritual force, a spiritual opportunity, a spiritual gift, a spiritual power that we've deprived ourselves of because of materialism, obsession with status, comparison, and all of the other narcissistic traits. Because of self-betrayal and delusion, disconnect from inner child and moral compass, and all of the other codependent habits that we've fallen into. And this rises to the axis of dualities, namely Virgo and Libra, and Pisces and Aries. The axis of the runner and the chaser, and the concepts behind them, Libra and Aries, whose concepts are Virgo and Pisces. Many of us will recognize this as twin flame dynamics. And we all love to claim that the narcissist is the bad guy or the bad girl. But oh, we came short of that understanding. Let's look a little deeper. There's more to consider. And the enablers. Going back to the point I was going to make before we flow into this discourse. Women, South Node Libra has ended. It has taken down feminism. And we are at the conclusive details of that cleanup. And for all demographics, the illusion of white supremacy, which is simply white narcissism, it has fallen. Just as feminism, which is female narcissism, it has fallen. These forces of narcissism, these regimes of narcissism have fallen. Pisces holds the consent and the reach to identify with these spirits or these regimes that finds its way into your living room, your classroom, your community, your marriage, your household, your family, your legacy, as generational curses. For all of you demographics out there, I don't have to go into detail because I think I have been expounding quite enough on this topic. But oh, I love to remind. White proximity has been your damnation of every demographic. All of you out there who are lighted in the color of a cigar, you got some cleaning up to do in your ego. And the fear-based attempts to claim white proximity, it makes a narcissist of you. It makes a coward of you. It makes a liar of you. It manifests betrayal in you. It makes a codependent of you, seeking white approval, seeking white acceptance, seeking white validation. You, the codependent, the light-skinned motherfucker who wants so bad to be white. The high yellow motherfucker who wants so goddamn bad to be white. A codependent who to others turned out to be a narcissist in his delusion or her delusion. Your need for white approval has wreaked havoc and division, animosity and betrayal in every goddamn nation. And this is where confession must happen in the demographics. As for females, we rise no higher than our women. We rise no higher than our daughters. We rise no higher than our mothers. We rise no higher than our sisters. And to be plagued with the narcissism of feminism, your approach to relationships are acts of delusion, self-sabotage, and self-betrayal. To feel validated, to feel worthy, to feel lovable or desirable, you betray every spiritual faculty that you have, starting with your inner child. You become an enabler of your own demise and destruction. A codependent of whoever can stand in the representation of celebrities, novelties, athletes, or any other elite of this society in high levels and in local communities. Whoever can fit that description giving you the possibility through proximation, through association. You expose your own bankruptcy and void of value in yourself as women. The hypocrisy and the self-betrayal that you manifest in all of your philosophical claims in feminism. Becoming a tyrant, a dismantler of families, a dismantler and separator of the forces that was to fuse man and woman together. Sorcerers, magicians, high priestess, who make weapons of children, who justify the murder of children to levels of genocide as pawns and sacrifices for their own career access and fruition. That is narcissism. That is narcissistic. Spending all of your youthful years, all of the years of your glory, chasing the very ones who don't want you, running after the very ones who don't want you, devoting yourself and throwing yourself at the very ones who only want to pee in your mouth and wipe it up with a damn sock and keep it moving. But you've given all of your soul, all of your love to the very ones who throw you up and down the damn steps, keep you with a black eye and pregnant. But you call it love. Your standards are so high. A hypocrite. A narcissistic hypocrite. We're learning to heal this, people. And it's time to give this hypocrisy back. It's time to give this narcissism back. It's time to give these delusions back from whence you got it from. Give it back to the spirit of white narcissism. Give it back to the spirit of feminism. Modern feminism, let me emphasize, because feminism used to be a good thing. Give it back. Be careful of who you are out here imitating, of whose image, narratives, lifestyles that you are attempting to pattern yours after. Be very careful. It's time that we allow wisdom into our life. Love into our life, and it starts with truth and humility. Why do we resist it? Why can't we confess? They are equals in that the codependent, the chaser, is already in betrayal of their self. There's no high ground of virtue between the narcissist and the codependent. There's no high ground of virtue between the runner and the chaser. And you usually see this in the twin flame dynamics. We have gotten used to raising up the idea that it is the narcissist who is the problem. It is the narcissist who is the wrongdoer. It is the narcissist who's the eternal enemy and violator of all laws and principles of love and truth and intimacy. Not so. They both are equally in violation. The narcissist violates others at the first house in Aries. The codependent violates their self at the seventh house in Libra. This is what we need to understand. Betrayal of others and betrayal of self. Deceit of others and deceit of self. Sabotage of others and sabotage of self. Manipulation of others and manipulation of self. Lack of boundaries with others and lack of boundaries with self. Injury to others and injuries to self. Abuse of others and abuse of self. They are the same person. One is seen and one is unseen. One is external, one is internal. One is esoteric, one is exoteric. One is physical, one is metaphysical. One is standing at the 12th house and one is standing at the 6th house. They are polarities. If we take a close examination, we are dealing with Pisces at the North Node and we have a stellium at Pisces. Therefore, the context of this is the 12th house and 1st house relationship, which is polarized by the 6th and 7th house relationship. Understand? And this presents what? Duality. On that axis, Virgo is the concept of Libra. The runner. It's the concept, the chaser. Virgo is the concept of Libra, the chaser. It's the concept. This eclipse cuts off that concept and toxic nature and shadow and detriment. Pisces is the concept of Aries, the runner, the narcissist, and that polarized context. Sixth house and 12th house axis. This comes from subconscious programming. It is the cycling of generational curses in the blood. It is the lack of confession of the 7 sins or demons at the 12th house. It's the fear of what leads us to authenticity, which is the isolation, which is the rejection, which is the idea that I may not be the all in all to every person. I may not be desirable to every person. I may not be the all in all to who I want to be so too. I may not be loved by who I want to love. I may not be accepted by who I want to be accepted by. So likewise it is as a perfect projection of the crisis that we have with inner child. The same way that you feel about the narcissist and how the narcissist treated you is how your inner child feels about you and how you treated him or her. It is a projection, it is a hologram of what you have going on internally. Some of us think that we're being courageous and heroic lovers in our families, in relationships, in professional sense. But all the while we are simply demonstrating our delusion. We are demonstrating how easy it is for us to be manipulated and used and exploited. We're demonstrating how much of a prostitute we are for illusions of acceptance, validation, and affection. Running away terrified of rejection, or the idea that I really am imperfect. The idea that I might not be lovable. What are we really expressing? What are we really doing? Where are our actions really coming from? There could be a manipulator in your family, as an example. They have a habit, bad character, or whatever the case may be, this narcissistic energy. And there are enablers within the family. Or perhaps in a relationship dynamic, you are an enabler of someone's bad character and narcissism. And in that, they know that they can always come to you to tie your emotions around their finger, to hook it up chain and link, because you will get up like a hero with a sword and a gun, ready to dart into action in defense of the manipulator, the narcissist. You standing in the way of the karma that's calibrated and meant to teach and enlighten this manipulator, this narcissist, who takes advantage of your emotional sensitivities, who takes advantage of your disconnect from your inner child, who takes advantage of your crisis within yourself, in your emotional body, in your astral body. This eclipse is about these relationship dynamics with narcissists, codependents, and enablers. There are narcissists everywhere, there are codependents everywhere, and there are enablers, and everybody is equally responsible. Which role have you played? Which position did you take? The truth tellers, they turn out to be the black sheep, the outcasts, and there are very few of them. There's usually one to every family. And that truth teller comes along and points it out. You're the runner, the codependent, the narcissist, and you're the chaser, the codependent. Both of y'all are as wrong as two left shoes. Both of y'all need to heal. The truth teller comes along and points out that there are enablers. And they're proclaiming from the depth of their lungs, this person has to learn from their mistakes. This person has to learn from their errors. This person has to learn from the consequences of their actions. But in your illusion, your sick idea of what love is, you intrude and you impede upon that person's access to their own classroom. Their own classroom called the University of Karma. You get in the way because you think that you're exercising and practicing compassion. You think that you're exercising and practicing love. You think that you're demonstrating what it means to be loyal. Why didn't we learn this during the Cancer Mars retrograde? Righteous anger. Righteous anger, and you're dead wrong. You're wrong as two left shoes. You thought you were a hero. You thought you were right. But you weren't. There's arrogance in this. And the arrogance is your assumption that you are the Most High, that you are Allah, that you are the eternal God who teaches man and teaches woman the wisdom that they need in this life. No, you are not. And if you have understanding, if you really love them, you will step out of the way and allow them to learn from what they create, to learn from what they do, to learn their own lessons and not intervene, to save yourself from guilt that you don't have to have. Your guilt is only an exposure and confession of your disconnect from your inner child. It's a confession of your lack of clarity in your own spirit and the work that you have not done. It's like a drug addict. They walk around with a violin on their shoulder and play that violin to the weakest link in the family. Who wears their heart on their sleeve? Who's sensitive, ever-loving, everlasting, and caring? Who's full of compassion and care and a philosophy of love and eternal peace and forgiveness? That's the sucker that the narcissist is going to continue playing. That's the sucker. And meanwhile, this same narcissist or manipulator is sowing confusion, division, animosity in the families, in the communities, in the demographics, in the nation, sowing confusion, putting one against the other in the name of what they believe, in the name of their principles and morals, in the name of their claims of their demonstration of right, wrong, good, bad, truth, and justice. But we all have failed to properly examine ourselves. This eclipse is going to be an exposure and an ending to the gravy train of narcissists. It's going to be a disconnect that no longer allows enablers to empower manipulators. It's going to be a turning point in which the codependent have no choice but to turn inward and learn how to accept and love their self. Each one of these three characters will find their self in front of their portion. Virgo is about Libra. Pisces is about Aries in this polarity. As the context is Pisces, it contemplates the sign prior to the sign that it is actually about in concept, from concept to expression. And Virgo is about the expression of Libra and what is behind the expression of Libra. Pisces is about the expression of Aries and that which is behind our expression of Aries. And truth be told, we all played every role simultaneously. Yes, we have. We all played every role simultaneously. But will you confess? Will you confess? Will you admit? You're not the victim that you thought you was. No, you're not. You don't have the sad story that you think you got. There's only you in this reality, and reflection of those who you accuse in this reality. And that's the truth. And the truth tellers have always been there as the mediator who inconveniently reminds you of your folly, your lies to yourself, your delusion, your cosplaying, your superficiality, your insincerity, and disconnect from your inner child. Your disconnect from source. Walking the earth trying to force your perversion of love upon others. But bankrupt for your inner child. Forcing your concept of love that is nothing but a trap of control and insecurity. The narcissist that walks the earth as fool's gold, false light, attracting and extracting resources out of codependent, helpless persons, hopeless persons, love-spelled persons. We have lost the meaning of love. We have lost sight of love. And we are mocking love. And that because we refuse to get to the truth